Hi, I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm referred to as the Big Game Hunter because I coach people to play their game big. That's usually a professional game, work, career, solo business, small business, job search, things along those lines. But I also do work helping people play the game big in their lives as well. Now, I do a weekday blab at noon Eastern here, where I take questions from people, or I field questions that have been sent to me. And Friday, I think I'm going to reserve just for a chat rather than fielding any questions. And today is really a thing about coaching. So the quick thought I have for today is most situations can be seen through different lenses. People look at stuff. By the way, if you've joined the blab, feel free to take a seat before I start here. Maybe we can do some live coaching. But if you don't, I'm just going to go on and chat. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'll just continue on and say, we all have our particular lenses of how we see things. And I remember an exercise a friend of mine wrote about in his book, A Circle of Men. His name is Bill Kauth. And Bill described this scene. Imagine you have a balloon. You're holding a balloon. And on one side it's red, and on the other side it's blue. Each of you is seeing the color. And you're correct in saying it's red, it's blue. It's red, it's blue. Did I see someone briefly flicker in there? Come on down. So you're each correct in seeing it through the particular lenses that you're looking at. But often people get into arguments because the other person isn't seeing their side. And that leads to the idea of an exercise that I think is really very sweet. That you can use at certain times. It's the notion that, people ought to stop thinking. And, if you think of the Wizard of Oz, there's don't pay attention to what's behind that curtain. No, don't look at that. Don't look at what's behind the curtain. If you move to a different spot in the room, you'll see something completely different. So, of course, Dorothy and the others walk in and they see their particular view of what's going on. They see this big, powerful sort of head there talking. And when the curtain opens up, they see a different perspective. For most of us, we see things in particular ways. We only look at things in particular ways, with the result being our view is really very limited. Often what we need to do is to be a little bit more flexible or just pay attention a little bit more and explore things. And a practice exercise you can take is just very simply go to one side of the room, stand there, take a look around. Go to the exact opposite side. Take a look. You see something completely different, right? In my case, if I go that way, I'm at a window. Go that way, I'm at a couch. 2 walls, completely different room based upon what people are looking at. So I encourage you, just spend a little bit of time looking at things differently. See whether you're right, because most of the time, you're right up to a point. And you need to open yourself up to other people's viewpoints in order to be effective and supportive and loving and caring. At the end of the day, we're not an island, or we hope not to be an island. We hope to be in right relationship with other people. We hope to be successful and happy in our lives. I'll let you define what those are for you. I know what they are for me. And, I'll just go one extra level. For many of us, we spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to improve. We think of ourselves as being broken. We think of ourselves as being defective or fucked up. And, instead of trying to fix the things that aren't right about you, the things that you judge are not perfect, just spend some time focusing on the things that you are extraordinary at, the things that you are exceptional at, the things that you excel at, and get even better. There's a wonderful book I read by a woman named Sally Hogshead. It's The Science of Fascination is either the title or the subtitle, but there aren't a lot of Sally Hogsheads in this world. So just look for that and take a read through it. Don't know if it's in libraries. I suspect it is, but it's the notion that it's not about fixing the things that are less than perfect. It's really about being even more of who you already are, being even bigger, playing big in life, in your career, every place, instead of the small compartmentalized way that you've been living since you got to school. School, that place where they tell you to sit at a desk and answer questions perfectly, the place that your parents said, pay attention to the teacher, because the teacher's always right, of course. And the teacher always knows best, right? No. And we forget the notion, like my son was reminding me, he took a math final this week, and he scored less than a 50 on it. And he said, no one in this class got more than a 50 on it. And the problem isn't us. We just have a bad teacher who doesn't really teach well. Teachers are not perfect, unfortunately. And the result winds up being students get labeled as learning disabled sometimes. And yes, we have I'll say mediocre educational system. I won't necessarily say bad. And the result winds up being kids get labeled and teachers get a pass. So focus in on the things that you excel at, the places that you can play even bigger at. Because from the time you got to that school, we're told to sit at that desk and score 100, or else to the time that you left college, because after all the way, you have to get good grades, have to do well, or else you won't get into a good school. And once you get out of that good school, you have to have done well there, because otherwise you won't get together now a good job. So, yes, it's about memorizing and regurgitating facts. That's not the case in my son's school. It's a little bit different there. When I went to school, it was definitely that way. So I'll just say that, you have to get a good job, so you have to get good grades. And once you get to that good job, the thing that you discover is you hate your job, because all they're doing is confining you to a desk again. You're not asked to think. Like, I was taking a look at someone's resume this week, and basically they tried. They went to school, got through high school, went to college, got a job as a deli clerk, and then something else of a comparable level. And it's no wonder he changes jobs every 4 months. He hates it. But somewhere along the line, he was told, got to get a job. Even if it's a bad job, then you can go look for something else. And once you get these bad jobs under your belt, you can't find something more interesting. So, I encourage people, play big. Don't play to the system. Rebel against the system. The system isn't there for you. The system is there to get people to kind of play within rules and regulations. And, those don't work for people. Now, I must in all honesty say that if you can't afford the consequences of some of this stuff, well, you can't play the rebel game. But if you can do it, then you can go into business for yourself. You can market yourself, develop something that really makes sense. You can host a blab, hey, and monetize that on YouTube. You can do a whole host of different things. But, when push comes to shove, I just want you to play big. I want you to be bigger at your strengths and look for ways that you can outsource your weakness to other people. Because if you do that, you're just going to be a lot happier. So I'm going to pause now, see if anyone would like to join me now I've done this 10-minute rant. Anyone like to grab a seat with me? Come on, I'm not going to bite. Just want to see if you'd like to join. Would the honey badger like to join? Come on. Okay, we've got a shy audience today. So I'm going to jump off. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll be back on Monday, and hope you have a great weekend. Take care.